Good morning. This is Chris the Old Guy, and today we're going to do a very special set in my collection, one of my favorite sets of all time. Well, you see what it is. Let's go through it to a certain extent. I might go through all of it. It is a 792 card set. This was hand collated by a gentleman that used to be a baseball card dealer in my area. Sadly, he passed away a number of years ago, but he was a great card dealer. I bought this at a high end at about $88. It sells now for 105 upwards to about 350 high end, low end to high end. This set's got, in my opinion, one of the best rookie classes of all time. So without further ado, let's see what we get. If you've never seen the set, you should try and go up online on Cardboard Connection and a couple other websites, and you can basically see what all the cards look like, or go on that site collects, and you might be able to find the card pictures of all the cards. This set is in numeric. I double checked it about 5-6 years ago. Again, I wanted to look at it. So let's see what we get. It's in decent shape. So let's go. First, we're going to go through the core rookies. Roger Clemens, 181. 403 was Corey Snyder from the Olympic class. This was the team. Dwight Gooden, 620. The reason why I got this set was specifically for Roger, and specifically for this card right here. Kirby. And the rest of the set, this is my favorite player right here, his third year, Donnie. It's got a little bit of a bump right there, but it's still in good condition. And then lastly but not least, McGwire. McGwire in real good condition. And the other card that I wanted really bad when I was a kid was Eric Davis. Okay, I grew up in the 80s, and I started collecting when I was about 7, 8, 9, and then I stopped, and I started again in my teen years. So a majority of my collection is in my teen years. Then it kind of faded out a little bit, and I have a few cards from my 20s, and then I restarted collecting at 48, 49, and there you go. It's grown, but this set brings out memories for me, because we lived, eat, shit, breathed baseball like we are now. And I can vainly see, the players back from those days playing. Watching, if everyone remembers the TV show Twib, This Week in Baseball. So I'm going off on a tangent, so I'll be quiet. But let's see what we get here for cards. Let's see, you got to find 1 and 2. And then, okay, I should sleeve all these cards, so that way when I have them in the years to come, my kids can say, sell them or trade them or whatever they want to do, if they even get into the hobby. This is a big set, 792. And it's also a testimonial to Topps. This was the middle set of that 80s era and also the best set. So we're going to do 31 through 2 and 1. And I might read a record breaker. Whitfield, Ripken, Odell Jones, Brunello, Bruce Borelli, Roy Smalley, Steve Bedrosian, Jesse Barfield, Brett's second year, Dwayne Cooper, Tunnel, Chet Lemon, Frazier, Hatcher, Mike Scott, Bobby Mitchum, Kuzman, Bando, Tim Lawler, Davey Lopes, Ralph Hook. You got record breaker of Don Sutton, Bruce Sutter, God rest his soul. Record breaker, Nolan Ryan, record breaker. Pete Rose, record breaker. Joe Morgan, record breaker, played for Oakland. Cliff Johnson, Blue Jay, record breaker. Dwight Gooden, Mets, record breaker. Steve Garvey, most consecutive airless games at first base, record breaker. And finally, Carlton Fisk, number 1. Longest game by catcher. Some of these records are just not going to be broken by the generations now because they don't play a long, consistent game of extra innings. I mean, they do play them, but because of the new rules, it's just mathematically impossible to play a game that's 21 or 22 innings, you know. I'm just being simplistic to the game now, the way things are. So maybe we'll do up to 200, and then the next time we meet, we'll do the rest of the cards. I don't want to go too long on the video feed. So this is 32 through 79. Mahler, Fletcher, Joe Beckwith, Alan Bannister, Willie Upshaw, Krukow, Rusty Kuntz, Rick Sutcliffe, Tim Launder, Don Baylor playing for the Yanks, Jim Wynn, Von Hayes, Rafael Santana, Dick Williams. Back then, the managers had cards. So the manager's cards are like the leaguer cards now, I guess. But the managers had cards. Bill Buckner, Mark Bailey, Steve McCarthy, Mike Ramsey, Kurt Kaufman, George Kendrick, Ricky Watts, Orlando Mercado. Pat Zaki, Jim Diver, Frank Tanana, Cesar Sedano, Tom Gordon, Jerry Jasberniski, Bob Watson, John Candelaria, Butch Davis, Tony Fernandez, Dave Rosina, Gary Woods, Greg Minton, Dickie Thon, Andre David, Luis Sanchez, Mike Fischlin, Phil Niekro, great pitcher, Johnny Wakanfas. There's some really great names in this set. We were laughing hysterically when I was reading them when I was a kid. Jamie Moore, Reed Nichols, Fred Brenning, Craig Nettles playing for the Padres, Ed Nunez, Tito Landrum, and Chuck Porter. So let me just read one of the, I'll read Nolan Ryan's record breaker card. And it's one of the good ones. One of the great cards of all time. Nolan Ryan, Astros, most strikeouts lifetime record breaker. Now keep in mind, he's got more strikeouts than anyone. But he's got more than this. He's got roughly 5,200 strikeouts, a feat that will never, ever be probably broken. Cincinnati, Ohio, September 30th, 84. Astros Nolan Ryan finished the season as baseball's all-time strikeout leader. Flamethrower has record 3874, while during his nefarious career, surpassing the total of Phillies southpaw Steve Carlton. The mark has changed hands several times between the two since mid-May through 83 season. But yeah, this is great. They're in fairly good condition, the cards. I mean, back then the paper quality of the cards weren't that great compared to what it is now. So if you get an 8 or a 9 and there's still 8s and 9s, you're pretty lucky. That's my opinion. We used to go by a price guide called Current Card Prices, which, you know, obviously had the grades of the cards and the quality of the cards. This was, you know, and then Beckett came out. Beckett was king, and then obviously now you have PSA and grading, and your cards are encased. I personally like vintage myself mostly. I'm getting some vintage cards coming in the mail. You know, basically non-graded. I do have some graded cards. I don't have many. But personally, the 91 through 100. Personally, it's a matter of preference, you know. I like all these new cards, but as an old school collector, to pick out the SPs and stuff, now it's a little bit easier. I understand it now, but in the long run, I mean, you really got to pay attention to close detail of some of them, because if you don't, you might, you know, not realize you have one and you sell it or you trade it. So 80 to 100, Brett, Wilcox, Lake, Steve Filson, Johnny Ray, Jose Cruz, Toby Hara, Schultz, Paul Owens, Rich Gossage, playing for the Padres, Guthridge, Brian Smith, David Green, Don Ass, Mike Marshall, Steve Owen, Charlie Moore, Joe Price, Keith Hernandez. Let's see if I can do this. I'd like to thank everyone for watching the video. So I'm going to pick out the good one, see if I can find Dusty Baker. So this is 101 to 168. So 145 right here in my hands. Gary Reedus, Elvin Davis. I think this is Elvin Davis's rookie. Might be wrong. Yep. Cranston, father and son. This is the introduction of the father and son cards before Griffey Jr. There's a lot of cards, and I was looking at the lineage line for all this set starts that career of the players of the generations of right right now with their kids. You're going to see some of them. The names will shoot out and you'll recognize them. Like this one. Obviously, we all know his son. If you don't, then you're not on this planet. Mike Steinhaus, Expos. David Steinhaus. Yeah, Trout's father's in this set. Roy Smalley. Joel Skinner. Bob Skinner. Bob Skinner was a great player, my father said. Dick Schofield. Dick Schofield. You know, you have Dante Bichette and his son playing. His card, what, was 89? Vance Law. Jeff Kunkel. Bill Kunkel. Terry Kennedy. Francola. Tito Francola. Bob Boone. Bob Boone's son is, you know, obviously the manager of the Yanks. Dale Berra, Yogi Berra, Buddy Bell, Gus Bell. I believe Bell's got a son too. Al Oliver, Phil Gene Gardner, Ernie Witt. This is, I believe, no, he's not Bobby Witt's father. Bobby Witt Jr.'s father. His card played, he was, if I remember right, his is 87 and he played for the Angels. Gubazaw, Rupert Jones, Kent Tucklevy, Rick Herberner, Dave Smith, Tom Bernansky, the first checklist. The first checklist goes from 1 to 132. Steve Kemp, Pat Corrales, Eric Show, Greg Gross, Dennis Boyd. Dennis Boyd, first year? I believe so. A's Ricky Henderson, and real good detail. Bob James, this is A's Ricky Henderson. This is his 5th year. Bob James, Tommy Kill, Tom Tillman, Doug DeSense's, Alejandro Pena, Gary Roninke, Daryl Goles, Tom Foley, Pascual Perez, Ron Kittle, Mike Fitzgerald, Randy Lurch, Tommy Dunbar. It's kind of special to actually read the names because no one, you know, they played. Are they remembered? And stats? I'm just, you know, I'm going into stats and statistics and stuff, and it's been a while since these names have been read, so I might as well. So it's like reading names on a tombstone out loud. I mean, it's kind of, that's being overburdened by saying that, but you know, these players need to be remembered, and this is how I'm going to remember them. Garth Iorg, Rufino Linares. There he is right there. 167 Rufino Linares. And Keith Atherton and Dusty Baker playing for the Giants. Orta, Eckersley, Benito Stefano, Ken Schramm, Carlos Diaz, Pat Tabler, Tug McGraw, Craig Reynolds, Ardenis Salazar, Frank LaCourte, Braun, Moose Haas, Jim Rice, Big Jim, Dick Knowles, Steve Yeager, Bill Swaggerty. I'd like to thank everyone for watching the video. I'm going to go up to 200 and then I'm going to stop. We'll probably do the rest of them at another time. This is a good set. Good set to buy. Good set for your family, baseball collector out there. When baseball was simpler, we didn't have social media. We had phones, you know. Denny Martinez, Eddie Milner, Mike Warren, Pete O'Brien, Glenn Hubbard, Stegman. This is 99 through 169. Jimmy Key, Howard Johnson playing for the Tigers, and that is his rookie second. Technically, yes, second going on third year. Rusty Staub, Warren Brewster, Greg Pryor, Mike Walters, Bob Lillis, Al Holland, Carmen Castillo, Larry McMillans, Tim Flannery, Dave Winfield, Tommy John, Mike Delone, David Van Owen, Bill Schrader, Dave Parker, Rick Honeycutt, Mike Young, Dave Parente, Bill Stein, George Foster, and Dan Spillner. And we're hovering on 20 minutes right now. I don't know. This will take me a good, to read all those names, it's going to take me a good, at least another 30 minutes. So I'm not going to do them all today. I'm going to do part of them. We'll review the set another time, and I'll go through. We will go through all the names little by little, and we'll just, talk about some stuff of the past that I remember clearly when I was a kid. Baseball related, obviously. But this is a must set for a collector out there that's looking for nostalgia and history of baseball prior to the new rules. Because some of these feats will never be broken by players today. It's just not going to happen. Maybe a few of them, but not all of them. I mean, I'll give you an example. You take a pitcher out of the game after about the seventh inning at about 75, 80 pitches. After that, he's done. Years ago, they would play 8.5, 9 innings and pitch 100, 120, 130, maybe even 150 pitches. Complete games. It's very rarely you're going to see that happen. Just a matter of opinion. Same thing with strikeouts. If you pitch less innings per your career, and that feat of 5,000 strikeouts comes into play, if you try to beat that record, if you even come close, like Randy Johnson, for example, I think he only struck out 3,600 strikeout batters. I mean, he surpassed Steve Carlton, if I remember right, so he's number 2 for all time. But with the players' union and the rules, they just don't want the players to extend their arms and get hurt. So it's just a matter of opinion. But thank you for your time. This is a great set for a collector out there, a beginner even. It's cheap. You can find it and enjoy the set. I will myself. Again, thank you for your time. This is Chris the Old Guy, and this is the 1985 Top Set. One of the best sets of all time. The 85, this is my favorite sets. 85, 87, 78. I like the 82. I like the 22. 22 sets got some potential with the rookies. And even this set, the 83, the commemorative of the 23. So, but this is the 85, and we're talking about the 85, and we'll leave it as that. So 200 to 792 will be done in chops the next two times, or maybe one extra time. I don't know. We'll leave it as that. But thank you for your time, and this is Chris the Old Guy. Have a good day.